Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow Program. Thanks for tuning in. I want to let you know that this will be a daily podcast, so you can look for the audio. There will be new stuff on here every day, so be looking for a message here from the ancestors. I want to start off by I need to get a personal message out to the KKK. I want to let the KKK know that you got it all wrong. I thought you didn't, but you got it all wrong. See, you didn't just shoved yourself, your white supremacy, all in our faces, all these years, only to come to find out that you, white people, are from Africans. You came from us. And all civilization, no matter where you at, whether you be in Russia, Canada, China, France, Germany, United States, if you black, you from Africa. It don't matter what. You from Africa. All civilization came from Africa. If you don't believe me, you need to start doing your research. See, the ancestors guide me where to go, what to read, what to look for, where to look for this stuff at. And I'm on the right path. And I'm telling the truth. And there's another thing I read. Christianity is the widest, it's the most practiced religion in Africa. And that's amazing to know that. You know why though? Because of apartheid. Because when they came in, that's Cecil Rhodes. His name was Cecil Rhodes. And he came in and he took over. He took over out there in Zimbabwe. They tore it all up. And he named it Rhodesia after himself. He tore all that up. I'm telling you one thing about that Mr. Cecil Rhodes. His soul is being tormented right now as we speak. He tore it all up in there. He named it Cecil Rhodes. He had the Africans over there oppressing them, had them turn up their own cities. He made them do it. They forced them into it, and then they claimed the territory as their own, and that's where apartheid came in at. And the white rule in Africa was there until the 1980s. To tell the truth, it really still is. It's still racism going on in Africa. Racism is everywhere. For some reason, white people can't just accept the fact that we all here. You know, it's some, and I'm not saying all white people, it's some white people who just think that they are just above everybody. They just kings and queens and above everybody, and that's not the truth. You know, and they need to come out of that, you know, and need to come off of that. We in 2020. You know, and I also read that slavery is still going on in this world. And that is really hard to believe in this day and age, in 2020, in this time of technology and all that everything we have came through and went through. I thought it was over with for everybody. But come to find out, it's still going on. Slave labor, slave trade, you know, people enslaved right now, not just mental slavery that I'm talking about here in the United States, because, you know, the only slavery that we got over here now is prison. But over here, we got mental bondage, you know, and I know that's going on in a lot of parts of the world, you know, where the drugs been pushed in. You know, you got mental bondage. But you know what? You know, my husband said something the other day. He said people are coming off of that. People are getting wise, you know, and starting to make wise decisions, wise choices. You know, don't take them drugs. You see where them drugs gonna lead you. You know, why you won't take some and you see what the outcome is. You see what's going to happen. You know, you take it. It's going to be one or the other. You're going to die or you're going to prison. You ain't going to be no successful crackhead. I'm just letting you know that it just ain't going to happen. And I hate to use that term, but that's a rebel, you know, because I never said I would call one of my brothers or sisters one of that. But you know what? What you put in is what you get out. And that's what you are. But you got to come out that mindset. You got to change your way of thinking. You know, that's that mentality that you have. That's that slave mentality. And you really need to come out of that. God said in his word, Jeremiah 29 and 14. He said, I'm going to bring them back from all the places that I scattered them to, wherever, all the places that they are. all the lands that they have been driven to. Because it was a time when God's people wasn't listening to him. He was sending prophets to, early in the morning to talk to folks and preach to them, just like what I'm doing, because I'm a prophet, and I'm here to preach to you and tell you what is really true. Not to believe what you've been believing, but to tell you what the truth is. And whether you listen to me or not, you're going to find out when you get to the spiritual realm, when you get judged, because that's what's going to happen when you leave here. Because right now you're in the physical realm. You're going to leave here and go to the spiritual realm. Ain't no heaven and hell. It ain't no lake of fire. You're going to be a tormented soul. Have you ever encountered a ghost, a spirit? Well, I have. I dealt with them all my life. I'm dealing with them right now. I live in a house haunted with spirits and ghosts. So, there are tormented souls in this house. There are tormented souls all over this earth, just roaming, lost spirits, of people like Cecil Rhodes, the man I talked about, evil folks, who got cold hearts. If you got a cold heart, God gonna judge your heart. I'm telling you, if you got a cold heart, you're gonna be judged. So here go a message to the oppressors out there. Here go a message to the people who are holding down folks' enslavement. I'm gonna tell you something. There is a God. You're gonna be judged when you get to the spiritual realm. You need to let the people go. You need to let them go now. If you holding anybody, if you're doing anything wrong to anybody, you need to let them go. You need to stop doing it, because that's what the ancestors are saying. Now I'm gonna tell you something. When the explorer got over there to Africa, the kings over there, they were going to the mediums. They were going to pray to God. That's how they prayed, through the mediums. And that's what I am. I'm a medium. So they would go to the mediums and pray to God, who went to God on their behalf. So I'm learning this stuff now. I'm just learning all this stuff within the past 3 weeks. And I'm telling you about it because I've been pushed to make this podcast. This podcast is not about money. I'm not here to make no money. I'm here to spread the word of what I've been told, so to let you know, we need to incorporate this African spirituality back into our lives. It needs to be back in Africa because in the Christianity, Jesus forgave. So that's it for that. If you want to believe Christianity, Jesus forgave. Now it's time for you to get on with your African spirituality because that's why ain't nothing been going right in your life. That's why you've been beating yourself up about the head. That's why you've been going through crisis after crisis, one thing after another. If it ain't this, it's that. Here I go again. That's the reason why. It's because been going through, you ain't got your spirituality. You ain't living in honor. Your heart ain't right. You can't forgive. You can't let go. You're holding on to grudges. You're being angry. You got to get them back. Hey, okay, I'm going to get them. I got something for them. No, you got to let go of all of that. That's got to be over with. We can't do any of that anymore, people. We got to live in honor to our ancestors. What does that mean? Well, that means you're going to live just like your ancestor, your dearly departed one, the one you love the most who gone. Whoever that may be. It could be somebody down the line. I'm telling you, may not even be that person. It could be somebody down the line you don't even know because my ancestor, spiritual ancestor, I did not know, but I know her now, and she's beautiful. But I'm telling you right now, that's how you're going to live your life. You're going to live in honor as if they were standing right there beside you. That's what they did in Africa. Look it up. You need to read and learn. Because I'm telling you something, when you get to the spiritual realm, when you leave here, you're going to leave here. You got a day and time coming. When you leave here, you go into the spiritual realm and you will be judged by how you've been oppressing your people, especially if you done heard this message. So you need to grow. Let's grow, people.